Blame the serpent, not the woman. Look over there. There's a damaged vagina kneeling between a stranger's thighs, negotiating vigorously for her dignity. Tomorrow she would write erotic love letters to herself about her good pussy, contemplating suicide. Summon your soul into action. Connect the organs. Work a miracle. Reclaim the world that you thought belongs to someone else. Time to get in step, folks. Truth is waiting. Look out, world. Greatness is coming. Love the world because you are part of it. Find someone to love who deserves it. Work for something. Control all that you have and become rich. Praise knowledge only when it is applied. Shine brightness for dead humanity. Vampires flee the scene when the light is turned on. So do roaches. Look how dedicated and committed roaches are. You moved yesterday and they wrote down your address. Pray to the originator of all creation to free you from useless knowledge and empty rituals. Tell your children that to be a parent is more than pay rent. Forgetting your share of this world. La tansa nasibuka minadunya. I met a holy man say, oh, dunya, bad, dunya. No, don't forget your share of this world. Then your children won't be wondering who John Galt is or the Sahuniya. If Ayn Rand could recommend Greenspan to Nixon, surely she could tell you who provided the milk in her mother's big white Russian Ashkenazi Jewish breast she nursed on as a baby. Everything is creation. Everything is creation but the Creator. You cannot nail God to a piece of wood, eat his flesh, and drink the blood of his murder on the first Sunday of each month to free your damn soul. Because blood is the river we were all created of, not to drink from. That's that piece. Here's a piece. This is dealing I saw a movie. And you know, whenever you spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a movie all over the world, because a young lady filmed me one time and I told her you can only use about 15 minutes of this footage. She was studying for one of the universities. She had a new camera and she heard of some of my presentations. I don't know. So she filmed me about an hour. And I said, only about 15 minutes. She came back later. And she said, how did you know that? Because they have gatekeepers that keep certain information, certain things. Once you see the process, you know how it goes. So I say, you'll learn. So I saw a movie. Movies are very influential. And I saw a movie, and I can't find it, so I'm going to try to do it on memory. This movie called G.I. Jane. G.I. Jane was the name of the movie. And Demi Moore, I think, played in it. Demi Moore played G.I. Jane, and all the men were hell-bent in keeping her from being successful, or I think she was an officer or whatever. So she fought him. And but the movie was a spark. I say, you know, that's a poem right there. I said, I can write something on that. So the inspiration for that movie, and a critique movies, a critique, you know, why as people involved in drama, sometimes the pictures on the wall is really, if you just study characterization and the whole process, the pictures on the wall have a significance to the plot, how it opens up, you know. This is knowledge, but it's misdirected. And it's a lot of other things that you know, take hours to really share it. So this is maybe a condensed version of that. I saw that movie and I wrote this almost immediately after I saw the movie. And it goes like this. When men become sissies, women start looking for the rainbow. Because where there's no shame, anything goes. As Pharaoh decreed, slaughter the male child of each household. Electra has a relationship with Oedipus. Electra tells her girlfriends, the more I do for Oedipus, what he should do for us, for our children, make me feel like I'm the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood's Gog and Magog, Juge and Megjuge, the vulgar soothsayers of this society have finally captured the scent of woman during ovulation to produce the world's finest and most expensive perfumes. But wait, there's more. This devil, your secret lover, has also produced the new woman for the new society, the new millennium. Sex as recreation, not procreation, in a smaller population. Have you seen her yesterday, today, at home, at school, at the coffee shop? Have you seen her? The G.I. Jane wannabe. At her most defining moment, at her most triumphant moment after she has shaved the hair from her head in some instances, lifted weights at Powerhouse, now stronger than man, perfected the male swagger and mannerisms. Baggy jeans, loose tees, baseball cap turned backward, serious facial expressions, but still there are lingering traces of female softness peeping through a big black coat. She proves she is superior to man, both academically and physically. Transformation complete. Her whole life is fighting man. Around her, off of her, inside of her, raping her. She fights man like a man, toe to toe. And she still has a uterus as she looks for the color purple between another lonely woman's thighs. Now at this most important moment, most defining moment, she says to man in slow measured tones, suck my dick. Suddenly and miraculously, she looks just like her abuser, who stole her innocence as a little girl. But Jane's metamorphism was the key to her acceptance, her existence. By these romantic misogynists, men that confuses exits with entrances, men with pectoral muscles big as a vagina, Ginsburg would say. As families becomes fertilizer for this rich Western harvest, him say he want to be Michael Jackson Black or T.S. Eliot White, embouchure on the horn of a brass mushroom. And men were once proud, like mountains that humbled themselves. The classrooms are now empty at mother's feet as she rushes to compete. The souls of her sons and daughters fall from her lap, snatched up by vultures and cockatrices, carried off by the wind. That's that piece. Yeah, that's that piece. Here's a piece. This piece here, I call it Wardian cases. Let me say, you'll see what I mean by Wardian cases. It was a doctor, a botanist. You know, first of all, any country that's conquered, the first thing that's looted is the museums. The second thing probably would be the museums. They would also loot, various artifacts have been looted from other countries. Plants. You know, I went to Hawaii on a vacation last year, and my wife saw some plants she liked. She thought she can just get one and take it back to Detroit. And I said, no, and it's a process. You can't take plants from, you know, certain plants. It's a whole process. But anyway, as these conquered nations had plants, various plants, and they found out when they would go take these plants to Europe, European countries, they found out when they got there the plants would die. They wouldn't live. So this doctor, this botanist named Wardian, Dr. Wardian, he invented this case called the Wardian case, sealed off, and it protects the bulbs so they can travel great distances and you get to Europe, and then they could plant them, and then they could benefit from that particular plant. So I named this poem Wardian Cases, because sometimes I'll write something and I'll put something, and especially in audiences where we don't really discuss how and why the importance of poem structure, and I don't go too time consuming. So I'll just say it that, and then you'll see it's in this particular poem, and you'll see the connection. Packed like sardines. Oh, let me say this too. The Wardian case and the slave ship. You know, one thing about ships, you know, England had a great maritime, they take great pride in the development. Their slave ships were, you know, how you can take a slave, the ports, and how they get almost 1,000 slaves in the ship. It was a great art. They would keep the women over here and different things and they put their minds together. And they take almost 100 slaves, 1,000 slaves in one ship. That was money. So I call this poem Wardian Cases. And it goes like this. Packed like sardines, Parataxus carnival. Died bad, never loved. Laughs often, sometimes even without reason. Dying in their living, alive in their dying. America emancipates bodies, not souls. An emancipated body cannot perfume the air of freedom. Like a free dome connected with guidelines and self-discipline. These undisputed kings of no soul destroyed so many families like acid rain on raped petunias from a malignant sky. All for these golden sardine cans and 400 plus years of unrequited labor. Slave ships called the Amistad, the Liverpool, the Alabama, the Jesus, the Lord, the Bradford, yes, the Bradford, whose sadistic, maniacal captain, John Newton, wrote the song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Y'all sing pretty now. Like little birds that learn the words of the songs before they can fly. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. My head is underwater and I'm breathing fine. You're not a damn fish. Jesus said he would make you fishers of men.
That was okay.
Not fast food for the sharks of this society that still feed on our blood. Sharks wait for the bait in scarlet blood wakes. Suicide jumps from slave ships, hopeless as Palestinians with bomb jackets. Africans killing themselves, but not the innocent then. A death that speaks louder than a life of thumbscrews and the cat with 9 tails. So they jumped. Guardian cases of living gold sailing across the Atlantic. Sailing across the Atlantic. New bulbs to be planted in a new garden, a new world. Christ's implants for young placentas, guilty of crimes before birth. Precious cargo. Burnt hyena scapegoats, hundreds of men, women, and children. Once close, loving families, neatly packed Parataxus property, Pax Americana. Americana! Give me your tired, hungry, huddled shiploads yearning to be enslaved, enslaved wretched of the earth, imprisoned mother of exiles, purification for the evils of the new world. Mercedes invested in ovens before cars. Slave masters invested in slaves and slave ships before ovens. New victims of the slave masters' appetite for righteousness and riches. Sacrificial offerings made holy